Biomechanics is the study of mechanical laws relating to the movement or structure of living organisms. Biomechanics is in everything we do, and we can use biomechanics to improve plays in any sport. We'll be looking at how we can use biomechanics to compare my free throw to a professional athlete and how to improve my free throw with biomechanical features. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has a 90.1% career free throw percentage and has the most free throws made this NBA season. A basketball free throw does not necessarily need more velocity, but less effort in the free throw can cause Shai to have more accurate action. Shai's base of support is the area surrounding his feet contacting the ground, and sees him have 1 foot over the other with a wide 2-foot stance. This allows Shai to have a greater stability in his shot, which will increase his ability to generate high velocity. Shai's center of gravity stays in between his base of support the entire free throw. When he bends his knees to shoot the ball, Shai's stability gets better, allowing him to transfer the momentum through the base of the support to the free throw to gain velocity. Force summation is the body's ability to transfer momentum from the larger central muscles to the smaller, more distal muscles. This occurs when all body parts act simultaneous in practice. Shai's force summation charts show that all his movements line up perfect for optimal velocity for the free throw. The body part's momentum moves from the bottom to top, from ankle to knee to hip to torso to shoulder to elbow to hand, all at perfect timing. A lever is defined as a bar or a stiff, straight object that can be used to lift weight, increase force, or create speed. The main lever in the basketball free throw is the arm and generates velocity to get the ball to the hoop. There are 3 types of levers: first, second, and third class levers, depending on where the effort, load, and axis are located on the lever. A basketball shot is a third class lever, with the fulcrum being the elbow, the effort being the forearm, and the load being the ball. The larger the lever, the more velocity that lever can generate to the load of the lever. All levers provide mechanical advantage. Mechanical advantage is the measure of force that a lever gives us. The mechanical advantage is related to where the axis is located on the lever to change the distance of resistance and force arm. The equation for mechanical advantage is shown, and having a mechanical advantage less than 1 allows us to generate more velocity, as having a mechanical advantage above 1 means we can lift heavier loads. Shai having a longer resistance arm than force arm allows him to have a mechanical advantage less than 1 to generate more velocity. We can look at Newton's laws to see how Shai generates force and velocity towards his shot. Newton's third law: for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The force applied through the base of support and into the ground comes back up and is applied to the ball and shooting motion. Once an adequate amount of force is able to be generated, accuracy of the shot becomes vastly more important. Angle of release is the definition of the angle that a projectile or body is released into. The optimal angle of a release for a projectile to gain optimal horizontal distance is 45 degrees, but as a basketball free throw is not aiming to achieve the maximum distance, this is not the aim for this scenario. Shai has a release angle of around 70 degrees for it to have the greatest entry angle while still having optimal accuracy to the hoop. Newton's first law: once in motion, an object will stay in motion unless acted on by an unbalanced force. We can relate this to the ball and the factors that affect the flight of the ball. A projectile is a body or object in motion launched into the air. A projectile is affected in the air by 2 constant forces: air resistance and gravity. When the ball is released from the hand, the ball will follow a predetermined parabolic path. Gravity is a constant vertical force applied to any projectile and pulls the given projectile towards the Earth at 9.81 meters per second squared. On the upward phase of the parabolic path of the ball, gravity is slowing the ball down until it reaches its peak. Gravity will also accelerate the ball on the downward phase of the predetermined path. Air resistance affects the horizontal velocity of a projectile, causing deceleration, resulting in a loss of horizontal distance. The more velocity the projectile has, the more effect air resistance will have on it. Additionally, the larger the surface area of the projectile, the larger effect air resistance will have on it. When Shay releases the ball from his fingers, they apply the ball to go into backspin. The backspin of the ball will change the projected flight path of the ball due to the airflow rotating around the ball. This causes a lift effect to the basketball, as the top of the ball is in a low pressure area, as the bottom is in the high pressure area. Shay uses this to his advantage to drop the ball, as the backspin slows the ball down and also makes the ball drop rapidly, increasing his entry angle into the hoop. I'll now be comparing my basketball free throw to Shay, who has a perfect biomechanical free throw. My base of support is my feet. Having them close together and not having one foot over the other decreases my stability. Having less stability can decrease my velocity and my accuracy towards the hoop. My center of gravity stays in the center of my base of support, which increases my accuracy. On the downward of my shot, I have a short pause before rising again to follow through the shot. This pause makes me lose momentum, meaning I lose a lot of velocity in my shot. This means I must work harder through my torso and arms to make the horizontal distance. This causes a loss in accuracy. We can see the loss of velocity from my force summation chart as well. Shay has a near perfect force summation chart with all momentums lining up in a perfect sequence to gain momentum into your shot. The very late movement shown in my force summation chart is in between my hip and torso muscles. Shay has a wingspan of 2.11 meters, as mine is only 1.72 meters. This indicates Shay has longer levers, meaning he can generate more velocity from his shot. I try to extend my resistance arm to have a mechanical advantage less than 1, but as my levers are not as long as Shay's, I generate less velocity through my arms than he does. In this, we can see also the velocity I gain back from Newton's third laws. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. I put more force into the ground to gain velocity and momentum into my shot more than Shay does. We can see this from the rising higher in my feet than he did, and the more force I drive into the ground to gain velocity out of. This is due to me losing momentum due to the pause, therefore I need to push harder into the ground to compensate for that. Shay is 198 centimeters tall and is 27 centimeters taller than me at 171 centimeters. This means I should have a much higher release angle than Shay for the best entry angle towards the hoop. Only having 6 degrees higher than Shay does not provide me with the best entry angle towards the hoop, and should be closer to 85 degrees to provide me with the best entry angle. If I was a biomechanist coach, the 3 things I would recommend to myself is to eliminate the pause from my free throw, as it decreases my velocity and decreases accuracy. Then to increase my angle of release to have a greater high entry angle, increasing my percentage of made throws. And lastly, to slightly widen my base of support to increase my stability and improve accuracy. All of these will cause me to shoot better percentages from the line and evolve my free throw.